And we are live. We're talking about delayed immigration cases. If your asylum case is delayed, you may be waiting for a number of years, and this is incredibly frustrating. Maybe you've applied for a visa for your mother, your father, your children, and the consulate's just not doing anything. We have other people who contact us who've gone to their naturalization interviews to get their citizenship done. And they go to the interview, and then USCIS just doesn't make a decision at all. Does this sound like something you can relate to? Let me know in the comments right now. I want to know. Because if your immigration case is getting approved really, really quickly, you're in the wrong place. You don't need our help. But if your case is stuck and this is causing you so much frustration, you don't know what to do about it, then we are in a position to help you out. I want to welcome everyone to a webinar, a live webinar we're having this morning right now on how to get your delayed immigration case unstuck so you can reach your immigration goals. That's what we're talking about today. And I want to welcome you. I know it's Saturday. It's a Saturday morning, and you probably have other things going on. But if you have this particular problem, you're really going to want to pay attention to everything that I have to say, because there is so much misinformation out there about this. Everybody's like, well, my friend said this, my cousin said that, you can't do this. Some of the comments I've gotten on my TikTok channel, it's like, you can't fix a delayed immigration case. That'll never work. Well, it will work. This is what we do all the time. So I'm really glad that you joined, and I'm welcoming everyone. I'm here in Los Angeles. It's a beautiful day, and I hope where you are, you're doing really well too. Jackie, I want to thank you for joining our webinar. It sounds terrible. She says her son has been waiting for 14 years. 14 years. Well, let me tell you something, Jackie. You're in the right place, because we have a case right now that our office is working on, a delayed immigration case. We just got this case approved. It was delayed for 18 years. 18 years. 18 years. 18 years. That's insane. We got it approved in a matter of months. How did we do that? What kind of cases do we work on? What are the ins and outs of how to get your delayed immigration case approved? That's what we're going to be talking about right now. And we're going to be going into all very, very in-depth, very valuable. By the time this presentation ends, you're going to have so much more knowledge than anyone else has had about this. And I'm going to be sharing all my insights that I have in my work as an immigration lawyer. So I want to get started, and I'll tell you a little more about what's going on today. Let's see. Can everybody see this presentation? I hope so. First of all, who am I? Who the hell am I? My name's Josh Goldstein, if you don't already know me, and I'm an immigration lawyer in Los Angeles. I founded Goldstein Immigration Lawyers, the law firm that bears my name. We have a number of attorneys. We have over 50 people that work at my firm. We have offices in Los Angeles, where I live, and in Boston. And we work on cases everywhere throughout the world and also across the US. So because immigration is federal and administrative in nature, it doesn't matter where you are, we can help you. Also, I'm going to tell you a secret that in 2023, we are opening several new offices across the country, because we have to keep up with the expanding demand for our services. So that's a little more about me. Let me tell you about my personal story and how I got started in this. So somebody else wrote this, Josh Goldstein, Esquire, Joshua Goldstein, family man, squash enthusiast, visa delay lawyer. Okay, family man. I wish I had a slide to present to you. I have an amazing wife who is Filipina. We live in Los Angeles, and we have two insane, adorable boys, ages 4 and 7, Lucian and Gideon. And my wife is taking care of the boys today. And after this presentation, I'm going to chase them all around and play with them, which is my favorite thing to do. I love to play squash. It's a racket sport. It's sort of like tennis or racquetball. And one of the things I love about squash is that it's more popular in other countries. So I end up meeting people from Egypt, Pakistan, Germany, Australia, England, etc. And so that's really exciting for me. And a visa delay lawyer. So I run an immigration law firm, and we handle all sorts of kind of cases. We have celebrities and professional athletes. We have people who are undocumented or at the border. We have people from all walks of life and all sorts of backgrounds. But the issue that I am most passionate about is helping people who are victims of immigration delays. If your immigration case is delayed, that's not right. That's not fair. It's not something that I'm going to stand for. I'm going to take action to try to help you. And I'm going to do that by fighting to get your case approved and to put an end to this ridiculous waiting. When Trump was president, he closed down immigration. He was the president who hated immigrants more than anyone else. And, he used COVID as an excuse to stop Muslims from coming to the United States. So they closed all the consulates in Muslim countries and everywhere else. He slammed the door in the face of immigrants. He said that asylum applicants couldn't even come into the U.S. to apply for asylum because of COVID. This was all new. This was Trump. When Biden was elected president, I don't consider myself naive, but I expected that the delays that were such a problem in 2020, 21, before Biden in 2020, I expected those delays would clear up. But in fact, they haven't. Biden hasn't lifted a finger to resolve the immigration delays. And they're blaming it all on COVID when other aspects of American society have gone back to normal. Let me tell you, well, before I get to that, I want to tell you a story about how I filed my first lawsuit to get a delayed immigration case approved, because I think this will tell you where we're at. So this was way before Trump. But what happened is that I had a client. I sent my client to an immigration interview at the U.S. consulate in San Salvador. And I told my client that he would be approved in a couple of weeks and that everything would go well. I told him not to worry. His wife had severe medical conditions, and she was in the U.S. waiting for her husband to come back. Her husband was the breadwinner of the family. She relied on him for her sustenance, to pay the rent, to bring food, pay for the groceries, to support the kids. Everything was relying on her husband. So the stakes were high, and she had a medical condition. She had MS. Well, he went to the consulate. The waiver was approved. But the consulate didn't do anything. The case was stuck. She was coming back to me crying. What's going on? What can we do to get this delayed case approved? Why is my husband stuck in El Salvador? He's never even been to El Salvador. He barely speaks Spanish. There are gangs there. I'm worried about him. I need him back here. I won't be able to pay my rent. She would call me and she would cry, and I didn't know what to do. I was so upset about this. So I started by contacting my congressman. I called them, I wrote a letter. I said, look, can you reach out? Can we do something? That didn't work. I wrote a letter. I contacted the State Department, the consulate. I sent them emails. I explained the situation. I said, the case is already approved. Why don't you issue the visa? They never wrote back to me. I talked to other immigration lawyers, and I said, why is this case delayed? What can I do to get this unstuck? What's the problem? And none of the lawyers I spoke to had any idea what to do. And the weeks went by, and the weeks turned to months. And suddenly, it had been several months. It had been almost 5 months, and he'd been stuck in El Salvador. The family was crumbling. And they were relying on me for help, and I didn't really know what to do. And then I out of frustration, I just said, damn it, I'm going to go and sue them. I'm going to sue them. And I talked to all the lawyers I knew. Nobody had done a lawsuit like this, and I didn't know what to do. So we prepared the lawsuit. There was nobody I could talk to get help. I prepared the lawsuit on my own. I filed it, And guess what? It was approved. The visa was issued right away. And I thought to myself, wait a minute. If this case is delayed and the lawsuit helped this visa get approved quickly, maybe there are other people out there like this in this situation. Little did I know that the entire immigration system would be the subject of delays once Trump came about and Biden. Okay, so I hope that story is helpful. The first thing I want to ask you, the first thing that I'm gonna ask you is when you filed your immigration case. That's the first thing I want to know. Because the basis of any lawsuit to resolve the delay, well, let me back up a bit. The way that we resolve delayed immigration cases is by filing a lawsuit in federal court. We sue USCIS and the State Department. We sue them for every type of immigration case that there is. That's the technique that we use to get delayed immigration cases approved. And the basis for the lawsuit, and sometimes people say, well, wait a minute, suing immigration? How can you do that? You can't sue immigration. That's crazy. On what basis are you going to sue immigration? And the answer is that USCIS and the State Department have a mandatory legal obligation to make a decision on your immigration case within a reasonable period of time. It's just common sense. You fill out the application, you go to the interview, you follow all the legal procedures that are available. Surely they have to make a decision at some point. They can't just make you wait forever and ever and ever and ever. And when they do, when they are not doing their job, when they're not fulfilling their legal obligation, you can go to court and you can sue them and you can say, do your job, make a decision, because they have a mandatory legal obligation to make a decision on your case within a reasonable period of time. Does that make sense? What I'm saying makes sense? Any questions thus far? Please let me know. I'll take a minute to get a little, just talking about this gets me pissed off. I start getting upset, so I'm getting worked up here. I'm drinking iced tea. I know my friends in England think it's not right, but what can I say? I'm American. I like what I like, so forgive me. I know it's not right. But what I'm trying to say here is that you have much more rights than you know. You have many more rights than you know. One question is, where's my office? My office is in downtown Los Angeles, but we also have an office in Boston, and we take on cases across the country and around the world. Now, one thing I want to share with you before we go on any further, I have a link, and I'm gonna have a special bonus for you at the very end. If you stay on to the end, I'll let you know about this. Here is a link. I want everyone to make sure you see this link here. I'm getting some good questions. I'll try to get to them all. Here's a link. If you see this, I also put it in the description. I try to put this around. If you want a free case evaluation with my amazing team, you can book that right there with that link, and it will go right to my team. We'll schedule appointments. We have appointments available on Monday. And if you're in pain right now and you're tired of waiting, you can book an appointment with my team, and I'll leave that link up. I'm getting a lot of really good questions. You can see the link. That's great. That's great. I'll start. I'm getting some really, really good questions, and I'll answer every single question at the end, but I don't want to get distracted. One of the questions that someone asked, which is a really smart question, is what's an unreasonable delay? If that's the basis of a lawsuit, what's the unreasonable delay? And the answer is that it's a gray area. It depends on a lot of factors, but I want to give you some basic guidelines. I have a client yesterday who applied for an immigration waiver. She applied for the waiver in June of this year. So her application has been pending since July, August, September, October, November. Let's call it about 5 months. 5 months to her is an unreasonable delay because her husband is in Pakistan. She's stuck in the US. She's away from her husband for 5 months, and this is a source of tremendous pain. This is unreasonable in her opinion. It shouldn't take 5 months for them to review the paperwork. I like to agree with her, but nevertheless, 5 months for this type of case is not sufficient. If we go to court after only 5 months, we will not have sympathy from the court because it's going to take longer than 5 months. In my office, the first question that we're going to ask anyone about the nature of their case is we're going to ask them when they filed the application, because the length of the delay is very important. If you filed your application 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, 2 years ago, that's much different than if you filed it 3 months ago. And also it depends on the type of case, right? We have people who've been waiting for their work permits for 4 or 5 months. 4 or 5 months without the ability to work? That's absurd. So like that would have a different standard than it would for a case, for example, for a sibling petition, where if you apply for your brother or sister and you're a US citizen, this sort of visa petition, the whole system is absurd. So the first question that we have for you is, when did you file your case? And that's exactly what I'm going to ask, because I want to measure the delay. Samar, thank you for watching the YouTube videos. I'm going to answer your question right at the end. So yeah, and Jackie, she says she canceled her surgery because I have no one here to support, and I need my son and his family here to support me through these surgeries. When I hear something like that, and I want to thank you for sharing that with me, when I hear that, it hurts my heart, because after this webinar, I'm going to go back to my family. And I want Jackie and others like her to be able to go right back to their family. And that would happen if these agencies would get off their asses and do their jobs, because they have a legal obligation to do this. And that's what we can do to help you. So I'm going to move on with this presentation. When you filed your application, you were probably really excited. Let's say that you applied for citizenship. You're like, yeah, let's do this. I want to become a US citizen. Let's say you apply for your fiance. I'm engaged to get married. I'm excited. Let's get this application going. Yeah, so there's initial excitement that you had when you started filing your case. You weren't worried about a delay. You weren't thinking that you were going to get denied. You were just in a process of excitement, sort of like starting a journey. That's probably the emotional state that you're in when you started your case. So you had some dreams of moving to the US. Maybe your goal was to move to the US. Maybe your goal was to get a green card or a visa. Whatever it is, your goal was a source of joy and excitement for you. But then all of a sudden, the case got stuck. Maybe you have been unable to get an interview and you're waiting and thinking, when are they going to interview me? Maybe you had the interview and your case is delayed after the interview. Whatever it is, there's probably a delay that is just eating away at you. Maybe you got something saying 221G, administrative processing. Maybe they told you that there was a background check or a security check or something like that. These are all just excuses for delay. None of these things, in my opinion, have any real legal meaning. They're just excuses. This is all versions of excuses. So what do? You keep waiting and waiting and waiting. Days go by, weeks go by, months go by, years go by. And in some cases, unfortunately, years and years and years and even decades go by. The delay leads to more delay. And life is short. Time passes. And the source of this delay, the delay itself, becomes what eats you up. It's a black cloud that follows you around. You're waiting, you're waiting, you're waiting. And you wait even more. And you try to do different things to get the case unstuck, but nothing seems to work. So the question is, what can you do when your case gets delayed? Ibrahim Yule, one joined us. One of my favorite clients. He's doing great. We will get you there. So the next thing we do, what can you do when your case is delayed? Let me go back to that. So there are things that you can do that are ineffective. Those things include writing a letter to a congressman, contacting USCIS or the State Department, calling or emailing the State Department, calling or emailing USCIS, submitting an expedite request. I have a client, a friend, really, more than a client, and he had cancer, and he was separated from his wife. He informed USCIS that he would like his case to be processed on an expedited basis because he was diagnosed with cancer. They denied that based on cancer. It was insane. So those are things that you can do to get your delayed case approved that are ineffective. What can you do that is effective? Well, as I said earlier, the solution to a delayed immigration case is to file a lawsuit. It's called a mandamus lawsuit, a writ of mandamus lawsuit. That's a fancy word. And basically what it is a way to challenge an immigration processing delay to get the consulate, USCIS, the immigration officer, the visa officer, the asylum office, whatever it is, to get them to do the job that they're obligated to do, and to get them to do it within a reasonable period of time. You're not trying to cut your place in line. You're not trying to be demanding in an unreasonable way. All you're doing is you're asking them to fulfill their duties, the duties that they're legally obligated to do within a reasonable period of time. That's it. So what we do, we start off by reviewing your case very, very, very carefully. We have all sorts of questions, everything. We're going to ask you everything. We want to know all about your case. Why do we want to know all about your case before we get started? Because we want to ensure that your case is appropriate for this solution. We don't just take anybody who wants to hire us. We're very selective in the cases that we take on. And why is that? We want to make sure that you have a really good chance to win. People complain about lawyers all the time. Oh, I gave this lawyer some money, he didn't do anything. I gave this lawyer some money and my case didn't go anywhere. We only want to take on cases that we think have a great chance for success. This would be a good time to say also that whether you hire me or any other lawyer, whenever you work with a lawyer, whenever you file a lawsuit, whenever you engage in any kind of a matter like this, there are no guarantees of success. That's just the way it is. I've been practicing immigration law for more than 20 years, and I have never guaranteed that I can get someone approved. I've never guaranteed that I can get someone approved within a fixed period of time. And the reason I don't make such guarantees is that I can't. I don't have the authority to issue green cards or to get green cards processed. I am your servant. I'm here to help you, and I can help you try to get your case approved. And I have a lot of knowledge, skills, and experience to help you reach your goals. But ultimately, the outcome of the case and the time in which it's processed is not in my hands. And it's not in any other immigration lawyer's hands. One of the most misleading things I've ever seen is when a lawyer says that they have a 99% approval rate. No, you don't. You don't have a 99% approval rate. You know how I know? Because you're not out there calculating every day how many cases you get approved and how many cases you don't. And if you do, it's not going to be 99%. So any lawyer tells you they have a 99% approval rate, run for the hills in the other direction. Ibrahim Ewell, I love it that you're here. I love it that you're here. Nothing will make you happier. Nothing will make me happier than the day your case ends with celebration. I will answer your questions very soon. Anybody have any questions about all this? Please put them in the comments there. I want to hear everything. I want to hear everything from you. I hope this makes sense. I hope it resonates with you. And I'm going to keep going with my presentation. So what we do when we start the case is we file a lawsuit against the responsible parties. Who do we sue? We sue the consulate. We sue USCIS. We sue the State Department. We sue the Department of Justice. We sue the immigration officers, the asylum office, you name it. We go up and down the chain of command, and we identify the responsible parties, and we put them in a lawsuit, and we summon them to answer to the court our lawsuit. We file that lawsuit. When someone hires us, they get, pardon me, they get a questionnaire. And the questionnaire is designed to collect all the information and documents that we need for the case. And this questionnaire is highly detailed. Once someone completes the questionnaire, we prepare and file a lawsuit, and our goal internally is to have your lawsuit filed within 2 weeks of when we're hired. Now, I am admitted into countless federal district courts across the country. We also have referral partners all over the country in various jurisdictions. So one of the things that we as lawyers do is we find the best spot for you to file your lawsuit. I'm admitted in New York, California, Massachusetts, and we have a team that's admitted everywhere. So I can file your case in Texas. I can file in New Jersey. I can file in all these different states, either because I'm admitted in the federal district court there or because I have a referral partner that I can work with. But whatever it is, our team is coming up with the best strategy to help your case get filed. After your case is filed, we have to formally notify the defendants that they're being sued, and we handle that on your behalf. They have 60 days to respond to our lawsuit, 60 days. Some of our clients get approved within that 60 days. Most of them get approved after the 60 days. But we have gotten results where people have gotten approved very, very quickly in less than 2 months. So after the 60 days is up, usually they contact us, they ask for additional time, and then we begin the process of getting your case processed and hopefully approved. One thing that comes up in lawsuits sometimes, the government sometimes will fight back and they'll say, we don't have to do anything. We have no obligation to do a damn thing about your case. And when that happens, we fight back. We fight back hard. We don't just file the immigration case and then let it go. We're here to fight, and we're here to fight to win. That's what we do. So once your green card is approved or denied, the lawsuit is dismissed. And most clients get their approval in about 4 months. Now, that's not a guarantee. Some cases take longer than others. What would make a case take longer than 4 months? Well, it depends on the location where you're at, depends on the judge, depends on the type of case, depends on the nature of your case. Some cases just take longer than others. But, you know, most cases, I would say between 2 and 4 months are sorted out. That's how things work. And again, a couple things I want to mention to you before I get to the questions. A couple things that I want to mention. First of all, if you need help with my team and you're ready to book an appointment, I put a link in the comments. I think you can see that link, hopefully. I will put that link again. If you're ready to book an appointment with me, you can do that. And now I will answer I'll try to answer any and all questions that you have. So I hope this is helpful. The final thing I'll say before I answer the questions is that most people have no idea how effective this is. And if you really knew how easy it is for you to get your delayed case approved, then you would be excited about that. So I'm going to put this link again in here. Here it is. I will also, let's see. There's the link. I'll put this up here now for you, and I'll go back and answer some of the questions. I think what I'm going to answer are some of the questions that people have posted here. Let me go through here. I'll start with Imane or Iman. Says, I applied for my fiance in 2019. They sent the case back to USCIS for review. They told us that our relationship is not true. I'm 34 and I want to be a mom before I'm 35. And my doctor told me I will not have a pregnancy, healthy pregnancy. I need a solution. Please answer me. First of all, my heart goes out to you because I'm sure having your case turned away from the consulate was, it's a very unfortunate outcome. And I'm sorry that that happened to you. If you're engaged to get married and that case is unsuccessful, instead of filing a lawsuit to challenge the delay, what I recommend that you do is that you get married. You go to where your husband is and you get married in person. And then you file a new case based on marriage. Now, will that take time? Is that going to be fast? No, it's not going to be fast. But I think that if at first you don't succeed, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. And if your fiance visa was not approved, then it's time to get married and start over and do it that way. I know that may not be the answer you want to hear, but it is the right one. And as far as your family planning and your fertility goals, I think you just need to manage that. And it's not my expertise, but I think that there are things that you can do. So let me go to some other questions. This is one that I get all the time. This is probably the number one question that I get from anyone. People are delayed. They want a solution to the delay. But their main concern is this. If they file a lawsuit against the government, won't the government just get upset and then deny their case in retaliation? People are like, wait a minute, I don't want to get anybody mad. I don't want to do that. So I'm scared to file the lawsuit. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. They don't want you to file a lawsuit. And when you file a lawsuit, you have all the power. You do have all the power. I've never had a case, and we file these cases routinely. We file 50 or more cases per month, just like this. And I've never had a case where the government got mad and retaliated. So that's something you don't have to be afraid of at all. Is the lawsuit guaranteed? If your immigration case is delayed, I can guarantee you that you're likely to have a long wait ahead. And if my team and I review your case and we decide to offer to take on your case, I think you have a great chance of getting your case approved and getting it approved very quickly. But can I guarantee you that you're going to get approved? No, I can't. Can I guarantee you that you're going to get a decision within a certain period of time? I cannot. All I can do is offer you my knowledge, skills, and experience and my passion and try to help you reach your goal as quickly as I can. How long does a lawsuit take? Well, once you hire us, it takes about 2 weeks for us to prepare and file your lawsuit. Once we prepare and file your lawsuit, most cases are resolved in 2 to 4 months. Some cases take less than 2 months. Some cases take longer than 4 months. But I think 2 to 4 months is a reasonable expectation for how long it should take for you to get a final result. What other options can I start with? I've already answered that question. You can write a letter to your congressman. You can post something on Twitter. You can have your lawyer contact them. You can do an expedite request. You can do all these sorts of things, but it's not going to work too well. What can you do now? I think you have to ask yourself this question. How is this immigration delay impacting you and your family and your life? What is the cost of the continuing delay? How would it feel to you and your family if your immigration case is delayed for another month, another 2 months, another 6 months, another year? How would that feel to you? And by the same token, what would it mean to you if we were able to get your immigration case resolved in a few months? How would that impact your life? That's what you need to ask yourself. Because sometimes I talk to people who have the delayed immigration cases, and they say, I'm just gonna keep waiting. I'm gonna give it a few more weeks and see what happens. Um, and if you're in the wait and see mode, you don't need my help. You can just keep waiting, because there's still some hope that you're going to get a decision on your case and it's going to get resolved. If you're in the wait and see mode, then you don't need to be here at all. Just go enjoy your day, because you're fine. The people that I'm ready to help, that I want to work with, are the people that are in pain. People who wake up thinking about their delayed immigration case. They go to bed thinking about their immigration case. It eats them alive, and it's something that is devastating to them. I have clients who are at risk of losing their jobs because they can't get their work permit. I have people who've been waiting for 5, 6, 7 years to get their asylum case processed. Like I said, I had a case that was pending for 18 years. I'm making a video about that now. If you're in that situation, you're ready for action. There's a point that each of you who are stuck with these delays, there's a point where each of you stops and says, I just can't take this anymore. I cannot take any more waiting. I am ready to take action. And that's the point that you are ready to get a decision on your case. That's it. And when you're in that spot, we're ready to help you. Now, I want to go to some of the questions. So, Ibrahim Yule. Ibrahim, all of the questions that you have, I'm going to personally call you and I'm going to have a conversation with you outside this webinar, because I know the details of your situation very well. And this is a presentation for others. So I'll reach out to you. Don't worry. So Kaheen says, I want to ask you a question. It's been more than 2 weeks since you filed the office, but the embassy in Turkey is not aware and there's no deadline. Why don't the defendants know that they're being sued? Okay, so Kaheen, this is a great question. So when you file a lawsuit against the consulate in Turkey because your immigration case is delayed, it takes about 2 months for them to become aware that they are being sued. Why does it take 2 months for them to become aware that they're being sued? Well, it's a bureaucracy, and bureaucracies are slow. We notify them immediately that they're being sued. How do we notify them that they're being sued? We do it through a formal process called service of process. This is laid out in the federal rules of civil procedure. It's lawyer stuff. This is what lawyers do. We have to properly notify the parties in a lawsuit that they're being sued. And for them to receive this notification, process it internally, and respond, that's the process that takes about 2 months. So if we file a lawsuit, 2 months later, they'll have no idea that we filed a lawsuit. 3 weeks later, no idea. 4 weeks, 5 weeks. It's going to take about 8 weeks from when we filed the lawsuit, maybe 8 to 10 weeks before they find out, sometimes faster. So I hope that answers your question. It may not be the answer that you wanted, but it's a true answer. Again, I am going to put the link up here. I don't know if people can see it. This is the first time I've used this particular tool. Asim, thank you for the clarity and realistic tone of your presentation. My partner and I look forward to contacting you in the near future. I'm a U.S. citizen and we live abroad in Europe. Well, thank you for your comment. I like that you said that my presentation was clear and realistic. I always strive to be realistic as an immigration lawyer. I want to get rid of all the bullshit that immigration lawyers talk about. false promises, false hope. That's what I despise as an immigration lawyer. I want to make promises that I can have a realistic chance of fulfilling for you. And let's see, I got a question here now. If you apply for a K-1 fiance visa, how many months does it take to get approved? Well, first of all, I hate the K-1 visa. I hate the fiance visa. This is a topic of a different presentation. But I always recommend that people go and get married. And there's a whole, like, I don't want to get off topic, but there's a whole presentation for that. But if you can get married, you should, because you'll save yourself time, money, and effort. People think that the fiance visa is quick and easy, and they think getting married is long and a hassle, but it's not. It's the other way around. So we have another question. I did my marriage green card interview, and it's been 400 days, no decision. What do I need for a lawsuit? Well, brother or sister, I don't know who this is. We can help you right now. 400 days is a long time. That's more than a year, right? It shouldn't take them more than a year to review your paperwork. Most likely, they completely forgot about your case. Maybe they even lost your file, but they forgot about it. So I don't think you should wait one more day. And I want you to book a call with me and my team using the link there. I'm going to go to a question from Joseph. What is a reasonable time for a delay? 15 months after submitting an application for a K-1 or after being interviewed at the consulate? So what is a reasonable time for a delay is a key question that's asked in every single immigration case that we work on. And we can disagree about what is a reasonable period of time. And we have internal standards that we ask for each particular type of case. It's not just based on the length of time either. We also ask ourselves questions about how the delay is impacting you and your family. We're looking for examples of hardship. And if there's a lot of hardship, then the length of the delay is less important. 15 months after submitting an application for a K-1 visa, I think you're getting very close to an unreasonable delay. You asked whether the delay could be after the interview or before the interview. That's a very good point as well. Sometimes the delay is that you went to the interview and they haven't made a decision. That's called administrative processing 221G, or what they call refused, which really just means pending. And sometimes the delay happens because you can't even get the interview because they won't interview you. So I think I would have to take a closer look at your situation. Patricia, my mother has ALS. Wow, I'm really sorry to hear that, Patricia. And I filed an F1 family-based visa. She's relying and needing my assistance for financial support, and the difficulties come to these. Do you have a chance in 2019? Absolutely. Patricia, I want you to book an appointment with my team right away, a free case evaluation. We're ready to help you. Someone's mother has ALS, and it's been stuck for 3 years. First of all, if your mother were in perfect health, it should not take 3 years to get her case processed. That's absurd. And secondly, given her medical condition, you need her to get her visa and her case processed immediately so that she can come to the U.S. and have access to the best medical attention that's available in the U.S., hopefully. And I would like to express my, I don't really know what to say, except I'm glad you shared that, and I would be grateful for an opportunity to help you and your family and your mother. Okay. Mohammed, Kabesh food truck in Boston. I love that. He says here, he's from Pakistan. His asylum case is pending for 8 years. That's crazy. Your asylum case should not be pending for 8 years. Mohammed, I hope you book a call with me and my team using this link. We're based in Boston. We can help you. That's great. What other questions do you have? I'm going to go back through the list and see if I can find more questions. Sunil, here's a question. We are in AP, that's administrative processing, since April of 2022. The case type is F4 brother. We have submitted their questionnaire in July. How long should we wait for a WOM, writ of mandamus? The case was documentarily complete in July 2019. Sunil, you shouldn't wait one more minute. I don't know if your case is eligible for a writ of mandamus, but it sure does sound like it. First of all, why would you be in administrative processing at all? Why couldn't they make a decision at the interview? The number one question that I would want to know is, what is the priority date for your visa? And is it current based on the most recent visa bulletin? That's what I would check. If that's true, I would want to know when you filed it. And my guess is that you filed it probably 10 years ago or something like that, depending on your country type. But yeah, I think that it sounds like a very good situation for us to help you. So Joseph asks a good question. According to reports, there are over 19,000 USCIS employees. What are they doing to cause such delays, lost files, etc.? So what you're asking is, why is there such a systemic problem with processing delays? Why? And I've been practicing immigration law for more than 20 years. And I remember when there weren't these delays, or the delays would be unusual. And now the entire system has fallen apart. Why is that? I think it's hard to say why that is. First of all, I'm not an expert at fixing these problems. I'm an expert at helping individual people like you. I want to help each person who is a victim of these delays. I want to help them reach their goals. But if there were someone, if the director of USCIS or the Secretary of State were watching this video and has said to me, hey, Josh, I'll buy you a cup of coffee. Tell me what we can do to fix the immigration system. I think it comes back to what I think the first step to fixing this problem is to accept that they have a problem. When I went to court for these lawsuits, the way that the U.S. attorneys, not all, but some U.S. attorneys, and the way that the courts, not all judges, but some judges, the way that they think of these cases is they think that the problem is the cases. The problem is they're getting sued a lot and that lawyers are filing these lawsuits. That's what they think is the problem. But they never stop to ask themselves, why are lawyers like me filing these lawsuits? Why is that happening? What's the root cause of that problem? What's driving people, good people, to be so frustrated that they file lawsuits against the agency? Why are they doing that? And the answer is that the system is not working. The people who are stuck with these delays, the people who are processing these applications, they're not doing their job. They don't have the adequate resources. They haven't staffed up the agencies properly. They're putting into place protocols that are not processed in a timely manner. I don't really know. I can't say exactly why it's happening, but I can know that it's not right. And I won't let this continue. I won't. If I see someone whose family member is stuck with an immigration delay, I won't let that continue. Not on my watch. It's not fair. It's not reasonable. It's not right. And it actually, I'm on a mission to get each and every person with a delayed case approved as quickly as possible. I sort of feel like that's why I was put on earth, is to help bring families together and to help people reach their immigration goals. Sometimes, we have clients with F1 visas, and the F1 visa turns out to be an opportunity, a scholarship, a PhD program that if they lose that, it will cut off all sorts of career options for them. And by getting their delayed F1 visa approved quickly, they're able to pursue their dreams and develop the career that they want. Yes. Again, this is a way you can book an appointment, a case evaluation with my team. Someone asked, where am I located? I'm located on the internet. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook Live, all these places. But the real answer to my question is I'm in Los Angeles. I also have an office in Boston, and we're opening new offices in 2023. We take on cases in all 50 states and around the world. So wherever you are, we can help you. We have people contacting us from Sudan, from South Sudan, from Pakistan, from Saudi Arabia, from Michigan, from Florida, from right down the street from me here in Los Angeles. Let's see. What other questions? So what to do now? Well, if you are stuck with a delay and you want to keep waiting, you should just keep waiting. That's what you should do. If you're stuck with a delay and what I've told you today resonates with you, if you've listened to what I've said and you are curious about whether your case qualifies for representation, whether we can help you, and you're interested in taking action and not waiting, what I want you to do, I'm going to offer you a free consultation, case evaluation with our amazing team. We have limited appointments available on Monday. I know, and you can book this appointment using this link. And at this appointment, we're going to call you up. We're going to ask you all sorts of questions. And if we can help you, we will. We will not disappoint you, and we will not let you down. I'm going to go back to Steve because he said, please answer my question. And I apologize for not getting to it. I got a little carried away. Steve says, can we file for a K2 visa case? Since 2018, her mother got the visa, but the son did not get the visa. And the answer is, in general, yes. Now, before I accept you as a client and before I would file your lawsuit, I would carefully review all aspects of your background. And I would only take on your case. I would only take on your case if I think that you have a reasonable chance of getting approved. Because I don't want you to hire me and then have a disappointing outcome. Let me answer a few more questions. Ana Maria, thank you for your question. Thank you. Ana Maria says, my husband had an interview in Dominican Republic last year. He was asked for an I-212 waiver, and his case was put in administrative processing due to overstaying his visa in the U.S. After getting the waiver approved, we rescheduled his interview. It was in September, and he was put in administrative processing again. He fell in limbo. I have a medical condition that only has gotten worse due to no help with my small children who needs help. Okay, Ana Maria, what you need to know, and this is very, very important. First of all, I'm sorry that you're suffering with this horrible delay because you have a medical condition, you have kids with special needs. That hurts my heart, and I'm sorry you're in this situation. You got your waiver approved. Your waiver is approved. Your husband should get his visa. And that is a fact pattern that the consulates have no way of dealing with. In other words, when you go to the interview and they ask you for a waiver, and you file the waiver and the waiver gets approved. At that point, there's no coordination. They have no ability to process this. So I can tell you, Ana Maria, that you will never get your husband approved unless you file this lawsuit that I've been talking about in this presentation. Again, I am going to encourage you. I will be so disappointed if you don't book a call with our team because we know exactly how to help you. This is a case that I am very confident we can help you with. And I think it's horrible. Your husband, with your medical condition and your children, you need your husband immediately, not one day longer. And I would absolutely love to help you with this. And I would personally reach out to you immediately. If you, let me say this too, if anybody's watching this and has more immediate need for help or has questions, I will put my email here. This is my email, josh@jgoldlaw.com. I'll put it in all these presentations, josh@jgoldlaw.com. If you're watching on TikTok, my email is in my bio. And when you email me, in the subject line, this is very important, I want you to put no more waiting. Those are the 3 words that I want you to put in there. And when I see an email that says no more waiting, I will immediately get back to you and I will help you if I can. So book a consultation with our team using this link. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. We're going to ask you a whole bunch of questions. I will continue answering questions for as long as people need help. Here's a question from Kibre Jerme, very, very beautiful kid. What are the chances of getting out of AP if you're under AP because they have to investigate your documents, which are from another country? That means they have to contact the other country and the embassy and so on. What are the chances? So, first of all, there are only 2 ways out of AP. There's only 2 ways out of any immigration delay. One way is to keep waiting and try to wait it out. And the other way is to file a lawsuit. And if you want to keep waiting, you don't need my help. If you want to file a lawsuit, we're here to help you. But investigating documents is something that the agencies don't ever seem to get around to doing. And when you file a lawsuit, guess what? They wrap up that investigation very quickly. So this sounds to me like a case that would lend itself very well to success. Here's a question on YouTube. What are you seeing or doing for people seeing multiple extensions on their cases who are your clients? How are the judges allowing multiple extensions instead of forcing them to finish the processing? That's a great question. So first of all, let's talk about what to expect during a lawsuit. When you file a lawsuit, the government has 60 days to respond to the lawsuit. They never respond to the lawsuit. And the reason they don't respond to the lawsuit is one of 3 things will happen. One is your case will be approved before the 60-day deadline. The second thing is that the government will file a motion to dismiss your lawsuit. And in the motion to dismiss, they will argue that they have no obligation to do anything. And then we'll fight back. And the third thing, and this is what happens in most of my cases, the U.S. attorney who represents the agencies will contact me and they'll say, hey, Josh, my answer in the lawsuit is due tomorrow. I just heard back from the government, from the embassy, from the consulate, and they're working on it. They're trying to get things going. We need a little more time. And I agree to that because why do I agree to additional time? It's not because I'm trying to make your case go longer. It's because at that point, the lawsuit has done its job. The purpose of the lawsuit is a tool. We use the lawsuit to help you reach your goal. The goal is not to win the lawsuit. The goal is to get your visa, your citizenship, or your green card. It's the underlying immigration benefit that you're after rather than an order from a judge, typically. So you have to keep that in mind. When we get an extension, usually the extension is for 30 or 60 days. And most of the time, the clients get very frustrated because they think that that means that their visa itself or their case is going to be delayed for 30 or 60 days. But typically, once the extension is put in, that's the time where the immigration agency begins processing the paperwork. Now, there are cases where we have had more than one extension, but rarely more than 2 extensions. And I realize it's a source of frustration, but typically after a few months, this is all resolved. So Rose said, I contacted you in your office over a year ago, and I heard nothing. That's so frustrating. And I want to apologize to you if we were not able to get back to you. We're a small office, and we've grown a lot in the last year. And I want to give you my personal email address. This is the email that I personally check every day. And Rose, I want you to put in there, no more waiting. I personally will see to it that we respond to you right away. And if we can help you, we will. Let's see if I have some other good questions here. What other questions do you have? Gloria said, I paid a lawyer and took my money and did nothing. What do I do? He was hired to do a U visa. What do you do if an immigration lawyer rips you off? I would say you should demand your money back, first of all, and do it in writing by sending a certified letter. If the lawyer doesn't return your money, you should contact the state bar. You could file a small claims court. There are things that you can do. How long does it take to get a U visa? A very long time, unfortunately. Here we have Arshia. I'm from Pakistan. Hello. I think that's great. I want to share something with you this morning. I have a client, if you're from Pakistan, one of my clients gave me this cricket jersey after I won their case. If you are not from Pakistan and you're a cricket fan, forgive me. I love you and your country as well. But that's great. Let's see. Is getting married a quicker path to a green card than making a change of status from humanitarian parole to request a green card? Well, I'd have to look into that a little more carefully, but I don't think that I'd have to. First of all, is your marriage relationship solid, or is it something that you're just doing because you want to get a green card? I guess that would be one question. Maybe your relationship is great. Maybe you live with your spouse. And then I'd want to know a little more about the humanitarian parole request. I don't really even know what humanitarian parole to request a green card is. I don't know what that means. So I'd have to find out more. Does that mean that you're an asylee and you're applying for a green card based on asylum? I'd like to know more before I would try to answer your question. I hope this is helpful. I would love to see some emails from you. josh@jgoldlaw.com. Put no more waiting in the subject. Book a call with my team. And I think that would be a great way for us to help you. And just remember, all of you, you don't have to keep waiting. There are options. Waiting just leads to more waiting.